Hey, everybody. Another episode of American Hammers TV. Tonight we have a very special episode. We have two American Hammers from two different parts of the country, which is kind of cool, and two parts of the country we haven't really tapped into yet. Yes, there are West Ham fans in Iowa and Mississippi, which is awesome. So tonight we have Jay from Iowa, and we have Alex from Mississippi. What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Awesome. I just want to mention real quick, we got these fancy mugs from drinkwaredesign.com. They're pretty awesome, and it's great for your Strava Craft coffee as well. But there's a link in the description, below for drinkwaredesign.com. And also, Strava Craft Coffee still has that 15% off your purchase, your total order, if you use Hammers15 in the checkout. The info is in the description below. Also, we still have t-shirts, hoodies, etc., crewneck sweaties, and long sleeve tees for sale. And it's pretty cool stuff. Once this campaign's over, we're going to add new designs and post another campaign. So please buy it up. We've already sold about 22 or 23 shirts already, which is cool. And it goes to a good cause. I mean, number one, it helps the show. Number two, 10% of it goes to Isla's Fight, and the other 10% goes to the DT38 Foundation. So that's awesome stuff. And Lee's my co-host as always. I'm Tim. If I never usually say I'm Tim, I guess you all assume I'm Tim. I'm Tim. Hi, Tim. I'm Tim. All right.
Hi, Tim.
Hey, yeah, there we go. Shit. All right, we'll get cracking here. All right, let's start with Alex. Alex, man, how on earth did you get into West Ham?
Wow, everybody's got a cool story, and I'm sure mine's not going to be that cool, but it's mine regardless. I work in college athletics, and worked in Major League Baseball, worked in hockey, and you always have to have you're a fan of whatever game or whatever team you're working for, obviously, because it pays the bills. You're financially vested. And it's nice to be a fan of something that you're not financially vested in.
Yeah.
That if you lose, you don't want to go kick the dog just because, it's not, paying the bills. So that kind of helps. And, again, like I said, every story is going to be silly, but I really got disenfranchised with all the NFL stuff, all the kneeling down and all the patriotic stuff, which in that instance makes it even more absurd because you're like, these guys aren't as patriotic. I'm going to England. So that makes it even weirder. So you sit down, you say, okay, I want to be a fan, and you want to find a stock that's low, on the uptick.
You did well on that front, yeah.
Yeah. So, I look around at all the teams, and you start going like a girl picking an NCAA bracket. Like, oh, I'm going to pick the pretty colors, and find out that and those are the ones who usually win. But nevertheless, so I look at the jersey, look at the history, I look at all the teams, and this was at the time at the end of them playing at the Boleyn, and they had an amazing season. I mean, Pyatt, that was my first love. It's like Fredo and Godfather. He broke my heart. Another story, but you start doing the research, and you're like, okay, they're moving into London Stadium. Financially, at some point, the numbers just say that they're going to be a good team, not unless your owners are pocketing cash. Another story, but I really do believe that it's a team on the uptick that's going to start in the next couple of years. And I didn't want to be that guy that was, I'm going to go the Chelsea and the Manchester United, Man City, all that stuff. And once you start looking at the history of it, and how much it has impacted English football is just amazing. And then you jump on Twitter and and kind of like what we're talking about right now, you just start finding people. Like on Twitter, it's just anybody that had the Hammers in their logo, or I would but put on Twitter anything with Hammers, West Ham, anything, and I would just build a database of fans, and it was just amazing just how many people you could just interact with. I mean, it was insane. So that's kind of the short story, I guess. But it's I'll leave you on one thing. Like I'll wrap it up like this.
Go ahead.
But I reached out to a bunch of people on Twitter, and I was like, "So tell me what it's like to be a West Ham fan." And they're like, "Buckle up for like misery and depression and Europa League glory." And I was like, "All right, I'm in."
By glory, that means going out to Astor Giurgiu in like the second round, right?
Yeah,
2 years in a
exactly.
row. Yeah.
2 years in a row, by the way. That's right.
2 years in a row. Yeah.
Alex,
2 years in a row.
your hat answers the first question I had for you.
Yes,
You're in Mississippi.
correct.
So now Mississippi State, I mean, obviously the big rival there is Ole Miss. Goes back many years. Ole Miss has it's like the old Texas A&M thing where Ole Miss kind of has the superiority complex. There's an arrogance to Ole Miss, I think, right?
Yeah.
Although, can I just mention real quick that TCU beat Ole Miss in the Peach Bowl 49-3 a few years ago? So,
I'm all for it.
but I'm wondering if there's a connection between you being a Mississippi State guy and maybe choosing a club like West Ham that's not like a necessarily top six, sort of elite club.
Well, I don't think that they're a superior. I mean, I was born this way, so I really don't have a choice.
Well, but I mean, my point, Mississippi State to me is more. It's more like cheering for West Ham than it is cheering for, let's say, Alabama or Clemson.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. In that sense, I would agree with you that it's your blue collar, your ag school. There's a very big pride in family. I mean, everybody likes to use those cliches, but it really is. I mean, just the community really comes together with it, and it's pretty big. It's a family, and it's really has been something that you're right. There are some parallels between that and West Ham. I'll give you that one. Yeah,
not so much comparison to Ole Miss, but more comparison to again, like elite SEC sort of Alabama, Georgia type. Mississippi State's kind of it's a lot like my school, kind of one that tries hard. Has to try harder.
Yeah, you've got to do more with less.
Right, exactly.
Yes, you have to do more with less.
Plus, your colors match.
Exactly. Well, actually, that's one of the stories I wasn't going to tell how I became a fan because it's really silly. When I was a kid, we had a soccer team. I played on a soccer team, a little kid, and they were baby blue and maroon because the coach loved those colors. No. And then when I first saw the jersey, I was like, that's it. Yeah. So everybody's got a cheesy story. So that's, yeah.
Well, speaking of, so Jay, what about you?
So my story is a little bonkers. So back 2006, build up to the World Cup. Somehow, I was like, all right, World Cup's coming up. I want to watch what the United States doing. I want to, I kind of want to follow along with this. I just kind of see what's going on. I just graduated from high school. I had the whole summer free. I was getting ready to go to college, and somehow, some way, I saw the 2006 FA Cup final. Didn't really know either team. I have family over, or had family over in England, and so I'd been to Liverpool, I'd been to London. I didn't really know either team, but I'm like, well, they're kind of talking up Liverpool's the big team. This team West Ham, they're the smaller team. I'll cheer for them. I always root for the underdog kind of deal. And promptly forgot about that game. Watched the World Cup. Went off to college. My best friend in college wound up being a guy, big soccer fan. So I'd watch an occasional half a game with him, go and hang out in his room, watch a half a game with him. We became roommates in 2007. I'd get back from class and he'd have, a Champions League game on, and everyone we knew was a Premier League fan, was a fan of a Premier League side. He's a Celtic fan. So we had a Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink poster sitting up in our room.
The longest name I've ever seen on the back of a shirt, by the way. Name took up, went down from his elbow to his other elbow,
Yeah, absolutely. And so it all actually connects in a weird way. So I was watching, I'm watching these teams face each other, and I'm watching this little team from Spain whooping up on the big boys, and that team, Villarreal, goes on and does really well back-to-back seasons. They wear all yellow. They're called the Yellow Submarines. I'm like, I like this team. Their manager at the time being Manuel Pellegrini.
No way.
So the next year, so then that summer, it's the 2008 Euros. I then once again connections. The team I'm rooting for in there is Croatia, who's their manager at the time, one Mr. Slaven Bilic.
Slaven Bilic, yes sir.
So I wind up watching all that. I've got and I've caught the bug. I need a team. I need an actual team to support, and I'm watching preseason games, like MLS preseason games. Watch the MLS All Star game. Who's playing that game? West Ham that year.
Yeah.
Watch Columbus Crew play a preseason game. Who's playing in that game? West Ham. Get home from school, turn on FS1. Okay, this team West Ham's playing. And like the first 5 or 6 games I saw, like religiously, that I like watched consistently, that I sat down and legitimately watched, that weren't national team games, were all West Ham. Granted, we lost all of them. Should have been a sign, hey, anybody but West Ham. But instead, I decided to go the hard route, and after watching all this misery, said, no, that's my team. Those are my guys. So.
That's
awesome.
a great story, actually.
That's yeah. Actually, it's really cool too, because we talk about the different underdogs, and most of us seem to gravitate toward underdogs instead of being glory hunters. And part of the thing is we can just tell right away. You guys are, you're characters. Every person that we've met or spoken to on this show or via social media, we're all characters. We're all our own independent people. We're not the typical plastic, you're plastic fans. We have personalities. Every one of us is independent. It's really cool, man. And it's just really cool, man. And I love hearing these stories. That's absolutely my favorite part of the show, which is, I'm glad it's the first part of the show as well.
So Jay, are you an American sports fan as well? Are you into other stuff too?
A little bit. My best friend growing up, or one of my best friends growing up, his family was all from Wisconsin. So I'd go over to his house, and on Sundays Packers games would be on.
Gotcha.
I'm a bit of a Packers fan. I've never been to Lambeau. I've never done any of that. But like if an NFL game's on, or if it's a Sunday, I got nothing else going on, I'll turn on the TV and watch a game. But I'm strictly, I'm getting a little bit more into the NFL, but I'm pretty strictly soccer and pretty strictly West Ham. There's other teams I like, within the soccer complex, but not so much like American sports wise.
You're better off that way anyway. You're better off without the NFL anyway. I was only asking because I didn't know if you had an Iowa State thing going there in Iowa, whereas Alex has the Mississippi State thing going. I don't know if you had an Iowa State thing going.
Other than all of my friends are Iowa State, are Iowa State fans. My brother went to Iowa State, but currently teaches at the U of I. I like to note that I am my alma mater, my team in Iowa, went the entire last season undefeated in the NAIA, the Morningside Mustangs. So
there you go.
Right, well done to them. That's great.
So how I found Jay was I searched Iowa. I know I'd seen somewhere on social media some Iowa Irons, and I was just, I think it was Facebook. Finally, I found there was an old post that our good friend Wayne McMullen from Dallas Hammers and / American Ironworks posted on the American Ironworks that, hey, there's a new group that just came in here, or at least Facebook page, and you were the one that made all the comments. So do you have any supporters group there? Did you ever have a supporters group there? Have you ever gone to matches and watched with other West Ham fans in Iowa?
Yes. So when I first got back, I was convinced. I'm like, I'm going to be the only West Ham fan in the entire state of Iowa. And actually, as it kind of turned out, I met a guy when I started my job. I was walking through the hall and I saw a picture on a corkboard, and I was like, that's a West Ham shirt. That's 100% a West Ham shirt. So I went, I'm kind of walking through the hall, scoping people out, look, is that the guy? And going back and looking at the picture and going back, no, it's not him. And finally I found the guy, and we got to talking, and he's like, yeah, I've got one other friend who lives in the area. She's also a West Ham supporter. They became West Ham supporters through a friend who went to their school, who is English, who is from East London, who is, I believe, actually appeared in Green Street.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah, that's
really?
That's what they say. I don't know the guy. I've never met him.
Okay.
But that's their kind of connection to him, and so that's, I met them. And then there's the kind of the old head of AO Des Moines, is kind of like the soccer don in the Des Moines area. And she had a friend, my buddy Phil, who might be tuned in or might be tuning in at some point. He was interested in getting into soccer and said, I like this West Ham team. I'm interested in this West Ham team. So she put him in touch with me. And it turns out he had a couple friends that were West Ham fans. So we, and it also turns out a friend that I had from high school is a West Ham fan. So we have about 6 members plus a guy who none of us have met who drives a Porsche with a license plate that says West Ham on it. And so like we've got about 7 members, and we've gotten together every once in a while. We got together for the last game at the Bolin, and we got together for like the a couple opening games, and we'll get together sometimes on weekdays. Probably the biggest turnout we had was we all got together for that quarterfinal against Man United at Old Trafford, and a guy was in town from like Milwaukee, and he's a West Ham fan. He was like, I need to watch this game. I need to see this game. And so we're all sitting there watching the game, and there's a guy with a West Ham shirt from East London running around talking to us. We're singing the Payet song after we score and all sorts of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. That's probably our biggest turnout. But like a lot of us have kids. We've got 2 members. We've got 2 members with 4 kids each, and then they've both got twins.
Oh no!
So we got a lot of busy people.
What is in the water there? What is in the water there with all those kids and all those twins? You gotta. This sounds like a problem. You guys, so if you have 6, 7 West Ham fans there in Iowa, that's a large percentage of the population of the state, right?
I mean, come on, come on.
Certainly when the school year's out.
Oh, come on! I got to listen. I got to be East Coast elitist once in a while. Okay, I've lived in Boston long enough to be East Coast elitist, so that's what I'm trying to do. No, but you got to find the Porsche guy because he should buy the drinks if he's cruising around in a Porsche with a West Ham plate on it.
My buddy, the Celtic fan, sent me a picture of him yesterday. He's like, he was driving behind him, and like he's like, he couldn't follow the guy or whatever, or lost track of the guy. But I'm like, my 2 thoughts are so apparently there was a bar in Des Moines called Limey's, and my understanding is the owner played for Villa.
Interesting.
And so my 2 thoughts are either it's an expat who moved to Des Moines, and, has a lot of money, probably lives over in Waukee or West Des Moines, one of the richer suburbs, and expat, blah blah blah. I'm like, but my one other thought, because it's an older dude, is maybe it's like that guy, that Villa guy. Maybe he's a former player, and like I wouldn't know who he is. I've never seen his face, but like maybe, just maybe, he might be. It seems doubtful, but that was kind of my hope yesterday. So
that's cool. It's probably worth finding him. I mean, just from the West Ham fan, but especially one dedicated enough to put his to have his plates. I mean, it's pretty cool. Yeah,
Alex. So what about you, man? You ever get to watch any matches with any visiting Hammers or are there any local Hammers over there in Mississippi? 0. You're right now. Really?
Well, I mean, the crazy thing about it is, I mean, if they are, their closet, and you don't know who they are. So
you get a lot of that. You get a lot of that in Mississippi, I think. But
I guess there's one guy in Jackson, Mississippi that will comment on my tweets and stuff, and I believe he is, but he's never really come out and said, yeah, hey,
Have you ever gone down to New Orleans and hung out with the New Orleans Hammer?
I have not.
I think there's only one down there as well, and he's very vocal on Twitter as well. So I
did not know that. But the crazy thing is, I mean, I live on a college campus. I mean, you would just think the influx of just.
Are you in Starkville?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you would think there'd be.
Yeah,
of course.
Now this did happen one time. I was eating lunch in the cafeteria, so it's all these students were the athletic, cafeteria, if you want to call it that. And this girl had a Winston Reed jersey on, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So I go up to her, and like she's probably like 19, 20, and I'm like some old geezer. I'm like, "Hey man, hey, what's going on?" And I just got good skin. I really look made.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I just turned 45 last week. So yeah.
Hey, congratulations, we're the same age. Thank you. That's awesome.
So yeah, she just looks at me just like, yeah, dude, you're a weirdo, man. Like my dad, I'm from New Zealand. My dad had it, and like she had no clue what I was talking about. But it's fun. Yeah. So there's no other fans around here. Plus, if you're talking about like getting together as a group, I mean, you got to remember I live in Mississippi, so we're alcohol and bars and stuff like that. Nothing's open at like 6:30, 7, 8. And I mean, nothing to have a place like that at that time of day or time of morning is available.
What we're told is, though, if you have like a group of 20 people, which doesn't sound likely, but if you have a group of 20 people and you can pitch that, and usually if you're bringing in at least 20 customers first thing in the morning, they'll at least open it up for coffee or something.
Well, the funny thing is not really necessarily West Ham fans, but you find other fans that are Premier League fans, and you still try to gravitate toward those folks. Like our women's soccer coach, huge Burnley fan. I mean, that's a fan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. The guy that does our concessions, Liverpool, we'll let that go.
Whatever.
Yeah, really good. But the funniest story is this other guy, this random guy comes in our office and he's trying to sell, something to everybody in the office, and he comes in with his British accent and he comes in and he sits down in my office, a real nice guy, real personable. We kind of hit it off, start talking about soccer, and he sees my jersey hanging up behind me, and I said, "Well, what what fan are you? What team you got?" He goes, "Spurs."
Oh,
and the thing is, I'll probably never go there. I'll never, and I just look at him and I was just like, like, sure. And I had no idea. Like, I didn't know why. It was just some knee, jerk reaction. We just looked at each other like just I don't know why. It was so funny.
Did you just you just threw down right there, right? Just
seriously. It was just like the desk. Everybody just threw everything off. Let's go. And like the conversation just like went in another direction right after that. It was hysterical. And it was this very weird pregnant pause of just like.
So Mississippi is a big football state, college football in particular. Big sports, really, because Mississippi and Mississippi State both have a lot of great programs in all the big sports, baseball, basketball, etc.
Yep.
You get made fun of for being a soccer guy. I know you're also a football guy and everything else, but do people sort of give you a hard time for watching soccer, or is that not such a big deal anymore?
I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, I even watch it while I'm at work, and not really like I'm paying attention to it. It was just in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, there's USL in Memphis now, which I've been to a game, which is still kind of odd to watch them playing on a baseball,
right?
Because the way the grass is.
Yeah.
And I went to an Atlanta United game. So I don't think I think it's gaining traction. Even, I mean, as old as you and I are, they always told everybody would say, "Oh, it's this generation is growing up. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger." And I don't know if that's just starting or if it's
next generation. It's a good point you make, because I started playing when I was 5-6 years old back in the late 70s, 79, 80, something like that. And everybody said that. Yeah, everybody said, well, this is the generation that's going to make soccer huge in this country. And it's certainly a lot bigger than it was 30, 40 years ago. But it's not, I mean, it hasn't really climbed into the realm of where we are with the 4 big sports, the 3.5 big sports, if you count hockey as the 4th one. It's not gotten to that point. And I don't know. I think the millennials are more into it maybe than we are. Because I think part of the reason is because we get English and European football on TV now.
Yes.
And it's better. It's just better. I mean, it's better quality than MLS. It's more interesting. There's promotion relegation. It's proper clubs, proper leagues. So I think they have grown up with that stuff. 20 years, the highlight shows have been on Fox Sports, and 10, 15 years now it's been available on American TV. I think they've kind of grown up with it in a way we never did. So I'm hoping that it's this generation that's going to bring it into the main.
Yeah.
When I used to work in baseball, I worked for the Tampa Bay Rays, and a guy that was there left to go work for the Columbus Crew, and now he's with Austin FC now.
Okay. Yep.
And I remember him talking to me about it, and he was telling me that, and obviously I tell people this all the time, you can fudge numbers however you want and spin them to how you're liking, but just food for thought is that it's starting to chip away at baseball and football, and it's a slow burn.
Yep.
But I really believe it's starting to chip away because of what you're saying is it's on TV. I think the smaller leagues and MLS are growing, and I think it is going to be a very slow burn. But you're right. I mean, you're talking about like liking it. I try to explain to people that there's never an off season.
Right. It's year round. And I've always said too, the difference between supporting West Ham and being a fan of, let's say, the Bruins or the Celtics or whatever, is that in American sports you kind of switch season to season. Like, well the Bruins got knocked, they lost the Stanley Cup playoffs, so now people watch the Red Sox, and when the Red Sox are done, they watch the Patriots. You rotate. It's not like that with the football club. It's your obsession year round.
Year round.
Yeah.
One club in that one sport, and that's it. That's what you get.
Yeah, so there's always news. I mean, it is kind of like NFL in that way, that if you get in certain towns that, once the season's over, they start talking about training camp, and then they start talking about the draft. They start talking about this. So it does kind of liken a little bit like that, but I do believe that it's starting to kind of chip away at some of the major sports. Again, it's going to be a slow burn, but it's getting there.
Speaking of burn,
What?
all right, there's something going on in the chat room over here.
Uh-oh. Am I in trouble? Am I in trouble in the chat room?
No. I'll get into that one second. But
Usually somebody making fun of me in the chat room.
No, hold on. No, not this.
I wanted to see this chat room, by the
This
way.
has nothing to do with you. Wayne,
Morning.
Dallas Hammers Wayne, right? Wayne, our buddy Wayne, who's on the show a lot with us.
Yeah.
He said a quick chat room poll: is the Viking clap overdone now?
Yes.
And then your buddy Ken says, no, all STDs are bad.
That's my man. That's my man.
So
Don't ask him how he knows. He just knows.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but we're almost at that time anyway. I'm going to start with the chat room, but we're going to get into a poll question, and we're going to start with Jay in just a second. Okay, so I do got to mention that the chat room is pretty lively tonight, as you can tell. We have Ken, which is Lee's good friend there.
Ken was on. Ken texted me at 5 minutes to 8 and said, "Are you guys on yet?" I said, "Not till 9." And he says, "I just got a notification you're on live." He says, "I signed in. There's Tim staring at nothing."
Yeah, I was doing a test. The only way I could test.
He was there. He was ready. He was like,
"Oh, son of a bitch! I'm so sorry, Ken." The only way I can test the Skype thing with the OBS crap is if I go live. And I was sitting there by myself. I'm like, I'm not testing the audio. I'm just.
But I'm telling you, man, Ken is on top of it. He knows. He's on top of it. He's like, "Where are you?"
All right. So Gabe's in there as always.
All right, Gabe. I missed him last time. He wasn't there last Thursday. I missed him.
I know, and me and Wayne missed Wally at the
end of the day. Yeah.
And Wally's in here, so that's awesome.
Yeah, good.
We have a couple new faces as well, which is kind of neat to see. I'm trying to scroll to find them. Neil Hogan, who has been commenting on a lot of our videos after the fact. He's actually in the chat room, which is really cool. He says he's from South Australia. It's about right back at 9 when it was 9:20 p.m. He said it was 10:50 a.m. there, right?
I was gonna say it's the middle of the morning there. Yeah.
Nice. So thanks for watching.
Good eye, Neil. Good eye.
Dunk.
Australians love it when you imitate their accent. That's the thing they love the most.
Yeah, exactly. We have Dunk Irons. So thank you for popping in, man. And also, I think there was one named Lewis Pie. So I appreciate you coming in, and I think that's about it. But there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Right.
Ken says, I was confused, which happens easy these days. Okay. So I guess the question is from the chat room, the only one that really popped up was about the Viking clap. I mean, Wayne has been trying to bring this up on Twitter. I don't know if you guys even saw that on Twitter at all, but is the Viking clap overdone now? I mean, the Icelandics really had it going on, and
yes,
it seems like every other MLS club is trying to, and pretty much all these other countries are trying to do that. What do you think?
Jake, tell us what you think, because I have thoughts on the Viking clap, but you should tell us what you think. Right, take up the next 20 minutes.
I've got a friend who's a Minnesota Vikings fan, and loves to rag on soccer any chance he gets. So I think.
Well, he's a Vikings fan and he rags on somebody else. How can you rag on anybody if you're a Vikings fan?
Right, exactly.
Ragging there.
And so, but yeah, I was like, boy, you love to like rag on soccer. You love to talk trash about soccer, but probably the only thing that makes noise in that fancy new stadium of yours is the thing you stole from the Icelandics. So I think it's overdone.
What about you, Alex? What do you think?
We tried to do it at Mississippi State football a couple years ago.
Didn't work.
Like for season. I think it just doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is the wave dead? I mean,
Well, no, that's true. So here's my thought is
You
that
guys have the cowbells though in Starkfield. You can't hear anything
Yeah.
but cowbells. Cowbells are awesome.
T-
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Tebow, he likes to go on a lot of these live chats. He pretty much watches all these different West Ham related YouTube shows, and I always see him in there. And he just popped in and says it's 2:30 in the UK. Hello guys, what's up, Tebow? Thanks for watching. No, here's the deal. So me and Wayne were discussing this on Twitter earlier, and or it was Instagram. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. I have an issue, a major issue personally, and again, it's just my opinion. It's not the opinion of the show. It's not Lee's opinion, whatever. Everybody has their own opinions. I cannot stand drums in soccer. So it's one of those things where it's not a high school football game. It's not a college football game. There is no drum corps. There shouldn't be. But again, America has the right to do whatever the hell they want and not be like England. For whatever reason, I'm so impartial to English football. I want everything to be that way, and I just want there to be singing, chanting, and stuff like that. But for the fact that every MLS match, I've ever been to or have seen on TV, it seems as though there's a lot of drumming and there's a lot of butchering of the Yellow Submarine. It seems to be the only song any American knows how to butcher. And I used to love that song growing up, and it just kills me. It hurts me to keep hearing that same song over and over again with different words. And that's the only song Americans seem to know. So again, that's just my opinion, but I prefer the Viking clap to that or drums. But at the same time, I'd prefer just people, sing songs. And
I think the drums are more of a South American, player to it. That's really where that comes from.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. I mean,
That culture,
it's not in England for sure.
I still hate it either way.
Well, I mean, the England band, they've got those drums. They make England games almost impossible to watch.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the drums either. Viking clap, if you're a Viking, if you're Icelandic, do it. I mean, right? If you're Swedish or Danish or if you're from that part of the world,
Wayne,
means something to you, then go for it. If not, you're just aping somebody else, and I think that's kind of lame, to be honest.
And the whole, the Flair thing, I remember going to an NASL. They called it the Soccer Bowl. It was like their championship.
Okay.
It was the.
But you went to a soccer bowl?
I went to me and Manny went to the soccer bowl at the AGM in.
You mean the modern NASL?
Yeah, the modern NASL.
Oh, I thought you meant like in the early '80s.
No, man.
Bro.
No, man. So I was scared for people because I was in the crowd and in the Atlanta Silverback section, they're playing the New York Cosmos that match.
Remember that game? Yep.
They got these tarps and stuff. And they're fucking throwing smoke flares and smoke bombs, and the smoke's getting underneath these freaking tarps and shit. And I'm like, someone's gonna die, man. They're gonna have carbon monoxide poisoning. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking crazy. Like that's.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're ultras, man. I'm like, no, you're murdering each other. What the fuck? It makes no sense.
No, it's just pretty. I went to the first game I ever went to in Europe was in Saint Etienne. And of course, they played PSG, which I have to mention on every show.
Yes,
but that's just
there's a bet going on in the chat room if you're going to do that tonight.
That's just there was in Saint Etienne, and so the PSG supporters and Saint Etienne supporters were kind of catty-cornered to each other, and they started shooting flares at each other.
Oh, geez,
it was a pretty considerable fight of the flares, and it got kind of nasty. And actually, when we left that night, before we get back on the train to we were staying in Lyon. Before we get back on the train to Lyon. Had to show our passports, and once we saw we're American, of course, we got through without any problem. But they were IDing everybody because they were trying to catch, like, the PSG fans who had shot the flares before they got on the train. So the French cops were like onto this, because it was pretty dangerous. It wasn't where I was on the other side, but I watched this. I saw the same thing you did. I watched it. And I thought somebody's gonna like burn alive. Like, this is a bad idea.
Like Bradford City, 1985, man, all over again.
Exactly.
Yeah, the stands will catch on fire and shit. Everybody will be dead. That's
exactly. Cool. So I mean, I'd take drums or Viking claps or anything over that. Basically.
Ken wants me to mention James Tompkins, so that I have another drink.
Have you bought your shirt yet? Your Tompkins shirt?
No, not yet.
I haven't.
Well, I'm definitely putting Tompkins number 5 on the new shirt that I get, because he's my favorite all-time hammer. Anyway, let's get into the polls here. I
So
have
sad when you say that. You're so sad when you say that.
I know.
That's okay.
All right, so just give me a second here. I didn't have this pulled up. I was watching the chat room. Hammers Polls. Well, anyway, we're good friends with Hammers Polls now. Hammers Polls, which is at Hammers Polls, or you can do it at hammerspolls.com. If I say Hammers Polls one more time, just slap me. Right. All right, so here we go. Here's a good one. Of all the hype around potential new signings, I hope Pellegrini doesn't forget, the youth players, and one in particular, Nathan Holland. The highly rated youngster signed a new contract in May, keeping him at the club until 2022. Do you think he'll be used much this season? Yes or no? Start with Alex.
No.
Any reason or just no?
It was a 50-50 shot. I just went with no.
We'll do one more after this one too.
So we'll be taking no questions at this time. Yeah.
Jay, what do you think, man?
I'm a big like I said earlier. And I neglected to mention probably like Manuel Pellegrini, like from that Villarreal season, like he's probably my all-time favorite manager. Like if he had never come to us, he still probably would have been my all-time favorite manager. Just how interesting he is and how great his teams are. And he's brought through Deck, and he gave Diangana a chance, and he gave Ben Johnson a chance. Yep. And so I think there's a chance Nathan Holland could be given an opportunity. But man, we got a lot of wingers. We got Felipe, we got Antonio, we got Yarmo, we got Arnautovic could play out on the wing. Lanzini can play out on the wing. Like
Snodgrass for that matter. Yeah.
Yeah, Snoddy can play out on the wing. Like we got a lot of guys out who can play out there. Like he's gonna have to do a lot to break in. He might be given a chance in the FA Cup or the League Cup, but it's difficult to say certainly.
Yeah. Lee, what do you think, man?
I see him as being somebody we'll see in the League Cup, possibly the FA Cup if our first round draw is against maybe a lower league team, so that we can go out and lose like we did to Wimbledon. But anyway,
I would like to see them use him.
I say he makes fewer than 10 appearances for us overall.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see him in this team. I have nothing against him. I'm with Jay. I just don't. I'm not sure I see where he fits right now.
No, he's fantastic though. He really is, and I hope that they see that. I think they will. I mean, we basically, no matter what, we all trust what Pellegrini's going to do. Even with the signings over the summer, we're not hopefully getting ourselves all worked up over these rumors and whatnot, and just trust Huselos and Pellegrini that they're going to do the right thing.
We have if our squad is healthy, if we have the full healthy squad, it's a good squad.
I'm telling you, this is the year.
I mean,
Jack Wilshere stays healthy. That Yarmo, they all stay healthy. Right. This is going to be a limited injury year for once in West Ham's history, in the nearest history anyway. It's going to be the one year that it happens. I'm telling you, Nobes is going to get his cup, his deserved cup this year. It's going to happen. I mean, with the look of the uniforms and everything like that this year, it's going to happen this year, man. So we got another one, and this one was actually retweeted by Hammers Polls because they tend to ask if you have any polls that you would like West Ham related. Just mention them in a tweet, and they'll retweet it. So this one was actually done by Mr. Wayne Hammer, which is Wayne McMullen out of.
That's his real last name, by the way. No.
They retweeted his poll here. It says, which midfielder are you more excited to see in preseason action? Anderson, Fornals, Lanzini, or Wilshere? Sorry. Jay.
Fornals, almost certainly. We know kind of what the other guys can do. And when the news kind of broke about Fornals, I went out and I searched. One of the things I do is when we're linked with the player, when it looks like it's getting close, I'll go and I'll see kind of what people like Tim Vickery or Andy Brassel or Mina Rizuki or James Horncastle, people like that have said about the players. And so I went out and I found a really interesting interview. I called the World Football Phone in and spoke to Mina Rizuki about Pablo Fornals. But I found Andy Brassel talking about Pablo Fornals from about a year ago, and he was sold that like this guy's going to be the next big thing. Like Andy Brassel was 100% convinced, and just listening to that optimism and listening to like what he talks about, what Fornals does, and he's like, Fornals is the number 10 who has the discipline to track back, who knows when to go back and make a tackle and help
That's
out
awesome.
in defense and stuff like that. And, and I'm interested to see that stuff happen. I'm interested to see how he fits into Pellegrini's system, and and I'm not convinced on X's whole. It's going to be a midfield three with Lanzini, Fornals, and Rice. I think there's something else brewing. That seems way too attack oriented. But then I'll remind myself, but Fornals tracks back. Fornals does do the dirty work, so maybe there's something there.
Alex?
I know Lanzini had limited time after the knee injury, but I'd really like to see him more and see how he interacts. I think Wilshere should be a close second. I'm sure just like everybody, like see how much that talent has, if it can come to its full potential realization after injuries. But yeah, I think with the preseason stuff, you just want to see people not get hurt and people see how they mesh together.
Yep.
I think new guy, I can never pronounce anybody's name I can do it in my head, but not in my lips. I think I'm curious to see how he adjusts to the English game physically. Nobody just comes in at that age and just bam, just takes off. I want to see how he plays physically.
Yeah, I'll say Jack Wilshere because I want to see him get through the preseason healthy, because I think Jack Wilshere, when he's healthy, is arguably our best player, period. I think he's that good. I really do. And I think that he is the difference between us and finishing like 10th or finishing maybe 6th. I think it could be that big of a deal. I do. I think he's that good.
I think
but Fornals, what he's done with Spain in 21 has been
phenomenal.
I mean, he looks brilliant. I'm with Alex. I want to see how he adjusts to the English game. Spain is a little lighter league. It's a little less physical. It's a little more about skill and touch. And England's a little more about clattering tackles. And so I want to see how he adjusts. I have a lot of confidence that he's going to be good for us, and he's a great signing. And I'm really excited to have him. But right now, I think if we can get Jack Wilshere in form and healthy, he's a game changer for us. I think.
Well,
if Jack Wilshere is healthy, if Jack Wilshere gets a full preseason in, do you think he takes Noble's place in the squad? Do you think that would be the next logical step?
I do. I do. I'm sorry, I do. I love Mark Noble, but yes, I do. I think he's a better player. I do.
Yeah, significantly.
Here's the deal with Mark Noble, and everybody just needs to recognize this. Mark Noble is like a freaking superhero, okay? So, like, when the entire, city is on flames and all hell is breaking loose, you go to him and you're like, hey, dude, look, all hell's breaking loose. We need you now. And he's just like, okay, tell me what the deal is. I mean, it's like a fire extinguisher, break glass in case of emergency.
That's true.
And he's always going to be solid. Everybody's going to count him out. Legs are gone, this and that. But then when it comes down to it, he's getting the Superman tights on, and bam, it's go time. So everybody just needs to recognize that. He's a constant, and he's always going to be there.
You know what? That's a tremendous comparison. And I'll tell you something else. He's Batman. To me, he's Batman because Batman doesn't have superpowers, right? He makes everything. You know what I mean? He does everything himself. So he doesn't have the natural ability to fly or have extra vision or whatever. My two sons are really into superheroes because you can't tell. But Mark Noble to me is Batman because it's his own ingenuity and will, as opposed to like superior talent. But yes,
there's no there's not as much talent as it's hard work and
yeah, exactly.
Totally. You put the signal up in the sky, you put the Hammers badge up in the sky, and he comes like swooping down. And yeah, you're right about that. You're totally right. And I think it's fantastic metaphor.
I'd like to thank Wayne for that question. That poll question was fantastic. I have a tough time. I mean, I think we all, have close first and seconds. Between Fornals and Wilshere especially. I mean, I can see Alex's point about wanting to see more of Lanzini and whatnot.
Yeah, I can't.
But I personally, I would love. I agree with Lee, man. Wilshere is it. I mean, I know Fornals is healthy as of right now, and he hasn't really had a recent injury. I mean, I'm looking at his injury history. He's usually fit, which is awesome. So we don't have to really worry about him. It's just he's going to take time.
West Ham. We'll see how long it lasts.
Here's the thing. Well, I don't know, man. I think this is the year, man. But anyway,
I'm going to be positive with you. I think this is.
I think that with Wilshire fit, we have Yarmolenko, man. I really think Yarmolenko can kind of play like almost further up top. He is a forward. You know what I mean? And I think that Wilshire and Anderson, now that he's got a year under his belt in the Premier League, I think it'll be a lot nicer. Can you just imagine the class between Anderson and Fornals and Wilshire and Yarmolenko? I mean, yeah, son of a bitch.
And
I mean,
if it happens to get,
you're talking if they're healthy. You're talking. I mean, play Declan Rice and
I was gonna say if it happens to get past them, we have Declan Rice.
Jesus Christ, I'm telling you right now. But no, but with the flair and with the technical ability and the attractive football and the amount of goals these people have scored in years past, and now I think together, once they have the class around them, and it's not a mashup like they had all year last year, mixing, mashing, trying to figure out what'll work. Excuse me. I think that you're talking between top 6, top 4. I mean, if Man United and Chelsea start to dip down, because they're going to be having an inconsistent year this year.
Well, Chelsea can't bring anybody in. Chelsea can't make it.
True.
If I'm not on the transfer ban. Manchester United, to me, they're starting to look like Arsenal. They're starting to look like a club that's just in general.
And Arsenal had an inconsistent year last year. I mean, they made it up there, but at the same time, I mean, I feel that we could smash Tottenham. This year. I mean, with the healthy squad on paper, we'd fucking destroy them. I think Arsenal too.
I think the funny thing about Manchester United, I'm sorry, my bad, interrupt.
No.
They think they're just going to go buy everybody.
Yeah,
and they're just sitting out with cash, and people are like, "Nah, I really don't want to sell. Like, I'm good." I think it's almost like they're blackballing them. It's really kind of funny.
Well, if they look at him and they're like, "Wait, didn't your guy manage Cardiff City and almost getting fucking relegated?" Like,
did get them relegated, I believe.
Yeah, I think he got fired like right beforehand, though, right? I mean, so technically, but anyway, I know you're right, though. I mean,
but the players don't want to go there the way they used to.
They don't want to play for them
anymore. They don't want to go to. There's nothing special about Manchester United these days. They'll get tempted by City or by Liverpool or maybe even by Spurs with Pochettino there, who let's face it, is a very good manager. Who wants to go to Manchester United? There's no cachet left there.
No, not anymore.
I mean, it's not what it was, 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
All they have to do is speak to fucking Pogba, and he'll tell them.
Right.
I want out. I don't want to be here. Same thing with Lukaku and shit.
Not that I'm bagging on Americans by any stretch, but how many American owners have totally screwed their teams?
At least 2.
I mean, Villa comes to mind.
Yeah.
Because I think it was the Haslam. What was the guy who owns the Browns? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Villa comes to mind in a serious way, and
the only one doing well would be Michael. Is it Michael Eisner or what's?
Well, Liverpool's doing well. To be fair, with
you're right. Okay, yeah, you got me there.
I mean,
Liverpool.
To be fair, but
the Disney guy. Who's the Disney
Pompey.
guy?
Portsmouth.
Yeah, Portsmouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
which is different. I mean,
they had 1 year under them. I mean, they'll get promoted next year anyway.
Well, no, they will. I think they will too.
Because with good funding and so on, yeah.
Actually, it's a really good point. I mean, the Glazers have not had.
Oh, Gabe says Swansea. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal with Kroenke, whatever his name is, I think.
The
owner. That's there's been nothing but trouble there the last few seasons by their standards anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So Manchester United, Arsenal, obviously Villa had a total disaster after maybe the worst owner in sports bought that club. So yeah, no, you're right, Alex. That's actually a really good point.
I mean, Khan, Jacksonville Jaguars owner, Fulham. I don't think he messed that one up. You're not gonna mess that one up.
That's a tough club to run, but yes, they did just get relegated. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to blame him, but because again,
Fulham been relegated twice under him, just so you know.
Well, it
took him a long time to get back, like 4 or 5, like 40 seasons, I think, to get back up.
No. Yeah.
Well, there was some kind of nonsense in their season they got promoted, where I don't know if it was Sadiq Khan or if it was he's the owner and maybe the chairman, but someone put their son in charge of transfers and no knowledge of the markets. It's which rings true to us. The old days back when it seemed like Jack Sullivan was picking his targets off a Football Manager or whatever. But
I think he was.
Yeah.
Alex McLeish used to do that. Alex McLeish was famous for that. Him and his son used to fucking do their scouting off of Football Manager. which I love. I love that game, by the way. It's
But I mean,
one of my favorite games. I'm
these
so
are
addicted to that.
these are Rangers, right? So you're always going to finish first or second. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you do. But
Just so you know, in the chat room, they're still going strong, man. I really appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat room. Thanks for watching.
Hey, Jay, when you guys do watch in Des Moines, where do you watch?
The Royal Mile, which is a British style pub down in downtown, like the bar district. So that's usually where we meet up. They open up about 8 a.m. on Saturdays during the Premier League season. So
That's cool.
Okay.
they're pretty good
that's
about getting open.
Yeah, so you guys are Central Time, so that gives you enough time.
Are there any other supporters groups there?
I've met my old boss is a Spurs supporter. Not good.
Former boss, yeah.
There's a couple Liverpool fans. I don't know that anyone's as like coordinated as, you know, and our group's not coordinated. You know, none of us, you know, barely ever get together, but we're probably like the group that like is, if able to get together, we're able to get together quite a bit. And you're like, the only time I've ever seen that place full with fans that weren't West Ham fans were the year that Liverpool came in second to Man City, and a bunch of Liverpool fans came out of the woodwork. And then the next year, they were gone again. Like I'm like, okay, so like you guys all like once again, glory hunters. You guys only show up when you're doing good.
Now, which have either of you gone over to London to see a match?
Once.
In what year?
The old Boleyn or the new stadium?
The Boleyn. I made it. When I graduated from college, I said to my mom, you know, I'd really like to go to London. You know, I know West Ham is going to be moving to the Olympic Stadium. I really want to go to Upton Park once before we go. So we went when Avram Grant was our manager.
Oh no.
We went and saw West Ham 3, Stoke City 0.
Wow.
Really?
We
Yeah.
climbed out of the relegation zone that day. And then continued our trip. We took the Channel, went over to Paris, took the TGV over to Toulouse, and I walked around Toulouse's stadium, and there was youth teams playing. And I wonder if I might have like walked past like Issa Diop at some point.
Oh man.
And, like didn't cross, you know, wouldn't have known who he was. Like I'm sure he wouldn't pay an American some mind, but I was like, but like there were youth kids playing, and I'm like. And like I think about it, I'm like, he might have been there. There's a good chance he might have been there that day, and like if only I would have known. Like
Toulouse is it's a rugby town, but it's a great city, beautiful city.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool you got to go to Berlin. That's a good opportunity.
What about you, Alex?
I register for every enter to win.
It is.
So yeah, my name is in frequent databases that have been sold and resold. No, I mean, I would love to. But it's not really on the cards. I'm still waiting for them to come back over here for an American tour.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think they will.
They will.
Yeah.
Get them not to do it.
Well,
Yeah, I would definitely gas up the car for that one.
We were talking earlier, you know, before we even got on, and you know, Alex and I about that actually. That you know, he asked, you know, why did we even do this? You know, are we even recognized by the club yet? Do they even know we exist, etc.?
David Gold retweeted us.
David Gold did retweet something I said about the Jack Collison interview, and but I really don't know if he actually understands what we are, though, or really gives a shit. But I hope so. I would like to think so. But no, the point is, we want to show here. I mean, that's what we're showcasing all these American supporters and all these American supporters groups. We want to show, you know, that the fan base is here, the fan base is growing, so that yes, it can explain to them that shit, come on back. We got plenty of people here. They should know that, though. Just seeing
Look at the TV ratings.
The TV ratings and the attendance figures too. Of when they happen here in the past, it's usually you know, pretty damn close to selling out, if not selling out. You know.
Yeah, we do. I do think we do pretty well on TV here in the U.S. You know, probably right.
I think we're the 6th or 7th. I think. Like,
yeah, I think you're right. I think last time I saw it was certainly in the top 10, and I think maybe right below the top 6, which tells you that we have a lot of supporters.
Well, we want to. We're trying to.
By the way, have you got Ken's back channeling me here? He just texted me. Do we know about Yarmolenko's injury status? Is he actually like fit, coming back? Has anybody read about this?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
know
I
either.
think X has said they plan on him being fit for the start of the season.
Good.
But he had two bad injuries. He had one bad year at Dortmund, and that's why he got sold to us. And then I don't know if it was a reoccurrence of the same injury or a brand new injury, but he's certainly he has bad luck with injuries, which screams West Ham to me. But like, man, he looked so good in those handful of games he played. He was
Oh, he did.
he was amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
type of class that we need, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, what was I gonna say, man? I was trying. Shit, you threw me off, man. I love you for that. I really do.
I threw that.
Yeah, I was
Oh well,
trying
that's
to.
not here.
No, it's all good.
look
Oh,
up
so
the
basically, we're trying to start a Discord channel so that we can have chats with people daily. If you want to join the show, if you're interested in coming on with us, if you're an American supporter and want to shoot the shit with us, we'd like to hear from you. So we're going to be having this little Discord channel chat thing going on where you can discuss the Las Vegas event with other people, and you can discuss where we really, especially Gary from South Carolina and I and Wayne and everybody else were talking about, planning a trip over to London and doing an American invasion rather than doing something, here in Vegas. Let's go watch a game together. Let's go over there and do it. So, there's a little room channel for that. Also,
there's a very slight chance I might get some over for work. Very slight chance. Could happen.
no, definitely. And
That's as good a time as any, right? Because I'll get mine paid for.
No, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. And but even
Yeah,
still, that's the point.
Yeah.
So we can talk logistics in that little chat, and basically you download the Discord app. I mean, we have posted on our Facebook and our Instagram, and I'll probably do the Twitter tomorrow. The link to be invited to the chat room, and you can talk amongst other American hammers, which is kind of cool. And now my phone's going crazy. Oh shit! Now I got Wayne back channeling me. You do the 10 questions.
Oh, okay. I've got them. I have them right in front of me.
All right, let's get the 10 questions going, and then after that we'll do the upcoming shows. Okay.
All right. So y'all can do this. I'll ask a question, and then whoever wants to start can start. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're trying this. We're going to see how it works. It worked pretty well on Thursday, I think. So we'll try to.
Oh, it's been working well. Yeah, we've done it with a few people. We did it with Ian Bishop.
All right, Alex.
We did it with
Well, this first one's going to test Alex. We're going to find out whether or not you're a real Southerner. Okay. The first question is: full English breakfast or pancakes and sausage?
That's what you're coming at me with? Seriously? Pancakes? Like, dude, seriously? Like,
hey, don't knock the full English. The beans are great in the morning. They get you going.
Oh no! I mean, I have been to London one time. I didn't see a West Ham. Yeah, no, it's good, but no.
All right, your Southern bona fides are intact. All right, how about you, Jay?
Full English. There's just something about I like a savory breakfast. I'm not necessarily a sweet breakfast kind of guy, and I love you get that banger, you get that stewed tomatoes, you get the beans on toast. I love all that stuff. Like that's tasty stuff.
My answer is always why not both, but
that's not the. Oh man.
Okay, favorite goal you have seen West Ham score? Obviously, not live necessarily, but just at any point on TV.
I got two. One is Antonio last season at the Boleyn against Liverpool, where he tackled the Liverpool player at our end of the field, sprinted to the other end of the field, and headed it in. The other one, and probably my all-time favorite, is Elan versus Everton.
Oh, Elan! I love this.
That chip from Faubert where we battled back to 1-1. Everton score almost straight away. Faubert sprinting down the right-hand side, just chips it in, diving header. It's a beautiful goal. It's a very underrated goal.
It is. A lot from a player. I suspect a lot of fans have forgotten. Yeah. How about you, Alex? What is your favorite West Ham goal?
It was last year playing Spurs in I can't remember what cup it was, but the header at the end.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I was at the doctor's office, and I'm having to check it on my phone. And and then when I get out, I'm like, oh my god, they were like down 2-0 and they came back.
That was in the League Cup. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was that I can't remember. I think Obama. That I think he headed in. I think that's who it was. Is that who it was?
I believe so. Yeah, that was my wedding day. Strangely enough,
That was your wedding day.
that was my wedding day.
You got married on a match day.
I was driving to the venue and I had the game on and we were 2-0 down and I was like, well, I'm just gonna turn this off, and then got married and checked my phone out. Oh shit, we came back and won 3-2.
I got married on. Well, actually, I didn't. I got married on a Sunday. But anyway, all right. So the third one is another. This is kind of a stupid question. No offense, Wayne, but we're gonna see how the Americans respond to this. Apple pie or meat pie?
I don't know if I've really truly ever had meat pie.
Yeah, not many of us have. Yeah,
Oh, I have. Yeah.
I mean, I've had it, but well, you get like shepherd's pie. You get like
Well, if you count shepherd's pie, yeah, shepherd's pie. I get
Lee, Harrow's Pies, man. Right down the, not that far from where you live, man.
really.
Harrow's Pies, yeah, dude. They're fucking delicious. Absolutely.
Well, we'll go. We'll have to go. Yeah, we'll go.
You know what? We should do that. We should actually, yeah. Well,
No,
me and you.
seriously, yeah,
Let's do that.
Let's
Let's have
do
some meat pie. Yeah.
Go down
Cool.
the street. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Jay, meat pie or?
Oh man, I not apple pie certainly. I like a Dutch apple, all right, but I mean, if fruit pies in general, I mean, I love a lemon meringue. There's nothing better than lemon.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah, no. Now you're sweet talking me with lemon meringue. I love it. Yep. All right. Let's see. A word that any word, I guess, a word that makes you happy. This is by the way, this is basically the questionnaire that James Lipton does at the end of Inside the Actor Studio
Yeah.
after he's finished like kissing some guy's ass for an hour.
Yeah.
These questions. Sorry,
Yeah.
a word that makes you happy. Anybody.
Two
not
words,
the word I want to
exciting.
say on live TV.
No, you can. That's the next question, though. The
Yeah.
next question is your favorite cuss word. So go ahead and say the word that makes you happy. Then you can say your favorite cuss word.
Oh, they're the same. It was the F word. Like either
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
like it's
Fair. All right.
it's multiple usage, verb, verb, adjective, and
Very
noun.
versatile. Yeah.
It's so diverse. It works everywhere.
It works on so many levels. Yeah. All right. How about
Jay.
you, Al? You want Alex? You're gonna. I'm sorry. Jay, you're gonna take both those on at the same time as well.
I mean, favorite word. It's probably probably 2 words. It's probably like West Ham win or something. 3 words.
Right.
Yes. But favorite curse words definitely fuck.
Yeah.
You can say it. If you guys have watched Gary, you realize there's nothing you can say here that Gary hasn't already said.
Or Batman.
All right. So this is probably an obvious one, but I'll ask anyway. Team you love to beat, other than Ole Miss. Team you love to beat. If you're West Ham, team you love to beat.
Alabama.
That's awesome. I love that answer because that's fantastic.
Shit didn't happen a lot, but yeah, I'd love. Yeah,
True college football fan and a true Southerner. Oh God bless you, Alex. That's fantastic. Because I was thinking maybe you were going to say like Tottenham. Oh no.
yeah.
Oh man, you and I are friends. We're friends. All right. Jay, what do you think?
Going back to favorite goal, Everton. It took so long
Yes.
for me to see us beat them, and their fans are so snipey and so snooty. And I think it's an inferiority complex from Liverpool. They they feel inferior to their own in their own town.
Oh, we witnessed it
Oh,
firsthand.
And so then they act like they're better than us. And so I love watching us beat Everton.
That's a great answer, especially after we went to the Premier League mornings in Boston back in March, and we had that horrible match against Everton, and they were just. I had no idea how they were, but
They were walking in front of us. It'd be a big giant screen, and we'd all be standing, and they would walk right in front of us with their drinks, going to and from the bar, like blocking our view, and they'd be like,
they're like little girls. They're like
yeah, and snickering, yeah.
Yeah, it's like something my 5-year-old niece would do. Although she probably wouldn't do it because she's.
I mean, I hate them going back to me. One of my most hated footballers of all time is Steven Pienaar.
Oh yeah,
I fucking couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand Leighton Baines. I couldn't stand anybody in the David Moyes era. I mean, of Everton. Ever since then, I mean, I just cannot stand Everton.
Yeah,
but Pienaar, oh my god.
The only reason I ever get a kick out of the Spurs is at the beginning of every season, I will watch the Ted Lasso videos.
Yeah.
And
You gotta give him credit for that. You do have to give him credit for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Yeah.
every year I watch that as like the kickoff. And
Okay.
then when he does the flashcards,
Yeah.
that is so funny. And it's
No,
funny you say that.
When Tim,
Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
when Tim and I were running I wasn't running it. When Tim was running an NPSL club here in Lowell and I was helping him, we were pretty desperate to get people to come to the games for I think it was our third season. And I contacted Jason Sudeikis' agent and like the ad agency that came up with those ads. And I said, could we get Jason Sudeikis to come in character as Ted Lasso and coach our team for a game? Because that was my idea to get people to the game. But you know what? I never got a response.
That would have been great.
Yeah, it would have been. I thought, you know what does it matter at this point? But yeah, I never got a response. So thanks a lot, Jason.
You know, it's another story for another day. But you know what killed me is after I basically left that club, the club that I
you
left, and they changed the fucking logo, which was the badge was pretty much similar to West Ham shape, and then it was obviously green and white, different colors, but it was influenced by it. Now I left, and they fucking changed the design to a circle with a solid color background and a dragon, and it looked just like fucking Millwall's logo, except
it kind of
green
did.
and white. And I'm like, you fucking dirty cunts! Like you took what I
did. I didn't think about that.
That was the biggest slap in the fucking face, other than having someone Tottenham supporter pretty much run the fucking thing after I left. So yeah. Anyway, another story for another day. Anyway,
it's all gone. It's all gone now. So yeah. All right. So we have so many of these questions still to get through. Okay, let's keep going.
Let's fly. Let's go.
They're supposed to be rapid fire, but it's my fault because I keep talking in between. Name a player, past or present, who epitomizes West Ham United.
Noble.
Yeah, good.
Good one.
Good answer. It's a good answer.
Noble. I mean, that's
Yeah, you pretty much.
easiest question I've answered all day.
Yeah. Player you most enjoy watching in the current squad, or I guess the upcoming squad.
Even though he's a complete bastard, Marco.
Yeah,
that's reasonable. Yep.
Reasonable.
You know,
answer.
I agree with that. My first love as a soccer fan was for West Ham was Craig Bellamy, and I mean he was a right bastard. So
yeah, that's true.
But he was a good player too. It's a shame he didn't do this longer actually. Player you okay, so a couple more. Now this is always hard for us who haven't been watching for a very long time, but which player from West Ham's past would you bring back to play for us now? Anybody?
Picania.
Yeah.
It's going yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just the attitude. I mean, I think that's the one thing that they're missing is the attitude.
That's why I really want us to sign Balotelli on a free. A
I
fucking
do
crazy
too.
bastard Italian. Yeah.
It's like the Raiders. Like we'll be the
everybody-
Raiders. Okay, we'll take your tired, your has-been assholes,
Yep.
and we'll put them together. We'll be the Raiders.
And people are
70,
talking about Balotelli like he's fucking 35 years old. He's only 27.
I would buy the Balotelli shirt.
He's still fairly young for a striker,
If we signed Balotelli, I'd buy the home and away shirts tomorrow.
Seriously, I mean, it's the attitude. It's not even, and I think Marco has that same attitude, but I think the problem is he's always got one foot out the door. I'm just sorry.
He doesn't channel it toward the opposition. He channels it toward himself and his own teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Jay.
What do you think, Jay? Who would you bring back?
Either I would put Scott Parker next to Rice, someone with legs,
Amen.
run
Love
all
Scott
day.
Parker. Love him.
The only other person I can think of is maybe Carlton, back to goal.
My man!
Someone to build up play.
Yes. Love Scott Parker. Genuinely still love him. I don't care if he went to Tottenham and all. It doesn't matter. But he was Hammer of the Year 3 times running, and I think he's fantastic. Hope he gets Fulham back up. Carlton, everybody loves Carlton. I mean, and the guy could genuinely play, right? He could.
The season under Zola, he was fantastic.
The chat room here says you got Ken saying Bonds, you got Gabe saying Dix, you got Tebow saying Scott Parker, which you said, and someone said proper wanker that was Bellamy. Yeah.
Well, he was. He like a the golf club or something. He was. Yeah.
Wayne says
he was insane.
Moncourt.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Moncourt is another one.
Tom Monker, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I'd say James Tompkins. Solid defender, man. Can score goals with his head. Anyway,
How about we bring back Vic Watson, a record goal scorer from like 1930s, He'd run like a wool shirt, you know, and like those pants that came down below your knee. All right, so very last question. If you found a time machine and traveled back to when Bobby Moore, the great Bobby Moore, was still alive, and you found him in his back garden having tea, what would you say to him?
Tough one. Huh?
Tongue in cheek, I would ask him if he did take that bracelet from Brazil.
Oh,
Good one. I like that.
Okay.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I got it. I know what I'd ask him. Can you get back in the time machine with me?
Yeah.
And we're gonna go back to 2019.
There you go. Nice one.
Fantastic.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Those are two good answers, man. I really like that. We have not heard either of those yet. That's awesome.
That's the best answers we've had to that yet. Yeah, both of them. That's fantastic.
That is
We're gonna
cool.
keep doing these questions. These are a good idea. I like.
They are. We just need to hone them, man. You know, it's a work in progress. But it was actually Wayne from Dallas Hammers, his idea,
Yep.
and it's so far so good.
Wayne is a media professional, you know, so he knows what he's doing.
He does, man. It's really cool. And thank you. He's still in the chat room. Everybody else is still in the chat room, man. Even fucking T-Bow, man. It's like almost 3 o'clock. Actually, it's after 3 o'clock in the morning there right now. So anyway, it's time to wrap up. I do need to listen, guys. Thank you so much.
Yes,
we
thank
had
you.
a great
Thank you.
time with both of
Thank you guys.
It was really cool. We don't normally bring two people in at the same time from different parts. Usually it's from the same group or something like that. We're just trying something different. And I think it really worked out, man. You know,
Yeah, it's one of the best we've done in a long
what
time.
are the chances of you guys meeting someone from Mississippi, like Jay, you meeting someone from Mississippi, or hey, you know, Alex, you meeting someone from Iowa? You know what I mean? Like who's a West Ham fan? I think this is awesome. You know.
Well, that's what I said at the beginning. I mean, you know, the Twitter, everybody really just has a commonality and you know, enjoys talking. So it's really so. Thanks for putting this together.
Absolutely. Listen, well, you know, we're going to eventually have all of our guests come back at some point and whatnot in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
especially as we add more content.
We want to have you back. Absolutely want to have you back. Want to have
Mm-hmm.
you talk about more than just, you know, being from Mississippi or from Iowa. Talk about the club. Give us your takes on things. Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you to everyone who is in the chat room as well tonight. I really appreciate you guys. You guys looked like you were having fun as well. So that's the other thing. So you guys don't see it, but there's a whole chat room of people having a blast with this. And then obviously the people who don't watch this live, I mean, they watch it and enjoy it. So anyway, our next few shows, we have 2 tomorrow. We have God. So we got Jack Collison, which is
One of my all-time favorite players.
me as well, man.
And you know, Tim, remember when you had him for your camp, you had a kids camp, you know, what, 3 or 4 years ago.
Back in 2016, yep.
The shirt he signed for me was his shirt. I already owned his shirt. It's not like I went out and bought his shirt. I already had his shirt.
Yeah.
And he signed his shirt for me, so we're still working on getting that framed. But yeah, I love Jack Collison.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, man. We're gonna spend a good hour with him tomorrow, and it's gonna be pre-recorded, just so you know, because he's actually running a training session with Carlton Cole. So at the time that we were gonna go live, so we're actually gonna record bright and early our time in the morning, and then it'll go up at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow as a premiere. So you can still jump in the live chat. I'll be there watching the live chat and chatting with everybody as the replay goes on. So that'll be kind of cool. At 10 a.m., we have another one of our good friends at Hammers Chat who will be also interviewing Jack Collison with us. And he's also done a lot of cool stuff with us. Anytime we need he's bailed us out a couple times. His name is Tom Atherton. From
He's a really
Chat.
good guy.
He's a really good
Yeah.
dude. So
I talked to him quite a bit when they did the 24-hour marathon for Isla Caton.
yeah.
Tom was the only one awake enough to talk to me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So we got him on tomorrow. And then
yeah.
so that's Monday, right? So the next show after that's Wednesday. Wayne and I are going to be talking to 2 of the Cleveland Hammers. That was rescheduled from a couple weeks ago, and we got them on the 26th. So yeah, those are our next few shows, and I hope everybody, you know, likes and subscribes. Please, it's really important that if you like what we're doing, spread the word, share the posts that we do on social media, but definitely please like the video, subscribe, and to the one prick out there who keeps not watching our full videos and hitting the dislike button, fuck you.
You know what?
All right? At least tell us what the hell you don't like. All right.
Just subscribe if you want.
No,
to
it's a Tottenham supporter. Right? It's a Tottenham supporter. I know it.
Well, then as long as he subscribes, he can say whatever he wants.
Well, like fucking yeah. Well, here's the deal. Just like tell us, like chat, like leave a comment. But anyway,
I think it's somebody. It might be somebody we know. It might
no,
be somebody
I think it is, man.
you and I know, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. It's all good. But anyway, please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe, hit the button, subscribe, and then, hey, when we do content that isn't live and you want to get notified, click on the notification bell, like the video and all of that stuff, and share the videos too. Like, please share the videos on different West Ham groups or, whatever you got on social media, whatever you want to do. And also, don't forget, look for the Discord link so you can come chat with us. And if you want to be on our show, if you are an American West Ham fan, you want to be on the show, just like we chatted with these two nice fellas from Iowa, Mississippi, please, we'd love to have you. You know what I mean? All right. Come on, you Irons.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.